welcome to Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. I'm Richard Dugan, and we are here with our very special guest on this time slot, 9 a.m. Wednesdays, LUMARI, here to talk. And we're going to be doing a recap of the past 12 weeks. That's right, 12 weeks. I cannot believe how fast it's gone by. Of her book, which is Streams of Consciousness. We're going to review a little bit and maybe give you some information as well. LUMARI, welcome. And I have to say welcome to the program post-eclipse. Now, we didn't get much out here in California, and apparently you didn't either there in New Mexico where you reside. But I watched the eclipse online with a live feed, and I watched it over and over and over again. And I think I have it down now where I could do my own coverage, just taking all of that feed and saying, oh, look, it's getting dark. Oh, it's getting light. Oh, it's getting dark. Oh, it's getting light. How are you doing post-eclipse?
I'm doing good. It's really interesting, actually, the way that things go, because, again, we won't see anything like this for another 20 years.
Yep.
That's how this works. And the photography of it was fascinating, and the fact how many people were so excited about this was also just, I mean, it's really nice to have people be that excited about something that's happening in the sky.
It is. But, of course, I'm going to go ahead and say this. I shared this with you before we start. It's like, boy, the human being is a weird animal because it's so easily distracted from whatever it is it's distracted from by what's going on in the sky. Not to diminish what you said, because I tend to agree with you, with Dr. Sky and myself talking every week about astronomy, space, aviation, and weather. And last week's program, which we had to rebroadcast this week because he had no cell service there,
Wow.
or very poor cell service. But by the same token, I recognize, and I always remember this when it comes to advertising and marketing, that if the companies that were doing the advertising and the marketing and the way they would try to attract people to their product or service, if these things did not work, they wouldn't do them. But
Right.
I know there's a name for these creatures, but you've seen them primarily at auto dealerships. The waving creature that goes up and down, and the arms and legs or arms and head are
I
waving.
love those.
Yeah, and it's like, if that's why I tend to agree with one person who said that if aliens were to fly by Earth and see what it is that attracts us and gets our attention, they'd keep right on going. It's the old looking for intelligent life in the universe. It's not here. Well, I think it is, but I think that maybe that's the minority that the aliens would see, and hopefully they would look at the rest of us and say, oh, they're trying to have fun, which, again, I'm not against, okay, don't get me wrong, but they're also trying to raise their consciousness. They're trying to live a better life than maybe what their parents had or what they had years gone by. Matter of fact, I came across some paperwork from not only therapy, but also from personal growth programs that I went through back in the 80s and 90s. And it's like, wow, it was amazing to see what thoughts I was having and the things that I was doing and so forth. And that's part of what Streams of Consciousness is about, is to help us to raise our consciousness by utilizing these streams, isn't it?
It is. And to be able to have and really recognize a direct connection with the divine. Because that's what's wonderful. Each and all of the streams of consciousness is a stream of energy with an attunement that allows you to connect directly with the divine, and in that, not be overwhelmed or confused. So sometimes when we read about things that have happened and spiritual experiences that people have had, they can't necessarily, on the one hand, can't put their mind around what's going on because it's very vast and different. On the other hand, the energy that's going through them is raising their vibration so quickly that there isn't a way that they can actually get it. And a lot of people have had those kind of experiences, and some people call them enlightening, and there's lots of other words for them. But a lot of times it takes a long time, in human terms,
Yeah.
to kind of get what is happening. And so the Divine Ones created the streams of consciousness, so each aspect of humanity could connect in their own way, meaning what resonates with them, and connect directly with Source, with the Divine, to receive and experience those higher vibrations.
Mm.
Every stream of consciousness is a vibrational theme, a quality. And if you look at it like the 12, I mean, because one of the people that I know is big, huge in astrology, and she said, oh, yeah, 12 streams. The 12 signs. I'm like, oh, didn't think of that one. You know, and someone else said to me, yeah, I said, there's something that has the 12 tribes. I'm like, maybe. I don't know. You know, because I just received the guidance as I receive guidance to channel this and write it.
Right.
But when you look at it, and we look at it like as a whole context, these streams resonate with parts of humanity that really, that humans, each of us, people, right, we resonate with.
Mm-hmm.
If you resonate with the stream of purity, there is something about your being, your personality, your soul that resonates with purity. And purity, not spiritual purity. Purity like this is the soul peace, unadulterated. And there are people who seek that, who appreciate that. That energy of purity is, you know, it's almost like they're going, finally, finally, finally. Because they feel that energy. And each stream, which is another wonderful thing, has different kinds of people and different people who resonate more with that. And that doesn't mean that you don't resonate with all of them, or that you don't have your three favorites or whatever.
Right.
But you also have like a primary thing that, or close to primary. You know, it's like, because purity doesn't have illusions. It's being present in the moment. It's allowing that personal knowing and clear experience. It's high vibrations, but it's clear. It doesn't have chatter around it. And there are people, and we know them, and we might describe those people as cut to the chase.
Right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't want all the other stuff on top of it. They adore. It's not that they don't have the patience, but they adore that purity. And that's what they look for in things. And every single stream has us people, who resonate with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. One of the things that I wanted to touch upon with folks who are listening, and again, this is, it's not the 13th, it's actually, I think, the 14th program in this series, because when we started out, 14 weeks ago, we started out with an introduction to the 12. Well, this is our 14th week of the Streams of Consciousness, and it's the new illuminated paradigm, which is a new future filled with honor, love, recognition, and divine frequencies. And creating a new paradigm, which is what this program is all about, New Paradigms for a New World, is creating a world, a reality based on what you want to experience and know can be experienced. And to create a new illuminated paradigm is to own and honor the past, which we'll talk about in just a moment, because I'm going through a therapeutic process where I'm being told that one of the reasons why I'm not going in the direction I'm wanting is because I'm focusing maybe too much. But we'll talk about that in just a moment. Too much on the past. Anyway, dealing with the past while moving into a new way of being moves to a more appreciative and creative participation in the world. In this new illumination paradigm, or illuminated paradigm, humanity moves to enhance, to embrace their own individual spiritual connection, as you mentioned earlier, in freedom and joy. You hear that, folks? In freedom and joy. And each person begins to contribute to the flow of creation without the harness or the harsh judgment which can be a harness of sorts, on lifestyle and belief. And in the new illuminated paradigm, relatedness, appreciation, honor, and fulfillment move in harmony with the spiritual and divine flow of creation. We are talking with Lumari here on Tell Me Your Story. We're talking about the streams of consciousness. We're going to go over those 12, as well as other things as well, as we continue here on Tell Me Your Story. I'm Richard Dugan, your host, and we are talking about the 12 streams of consciousness. And I want to talk just a little bit, if we can, Lumari, about the aspect of honoring the past, which is far different than sort of being stuck in the past, constantly rehashing, oh, Lumari, I did this and I did that and I did the other thing the other day and the other week and the other month and the other year and in my childhood and so forth. That is not what we're talking about when we're talking about honoring the past. Give us a better understanding of that.
So, honor for me is one of the hugest energies, simply because it is a place of real recognition with appreciation, and then it's almost like a divine bestowing, where you really feel that everything in that context is respected, appreciated, recognized, understood as best possible, and given a true place. And so when we look at our past, and if we're just talking about this lifetime for the moment,
yes,
then there's stuff we've done, there's stuff we haven't done, there's stuff we should have done, there's stuff we were planning on doing but we're never getting to. There's all sorts of things going on there. And when we honor that whole process, then we're not stuck anywhere. We're more in a space of recognition. Yep, I did that. I was an idiot. Yep, I did that. I was a genius. Yep, I did that. I probably wouldn't do that one again. You know, all of the different things, because even our actions, while we will remember actions in a certain way, we still don't know the totality of any action we've ever taken.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know the totality because you don't know what reverberated from that action you took.
Right. In spite of the fact that, and I've said this to many of my guests when we talk about choices, as we promote choices and knowledge of those choices to help make dreams come true. And this kind of goes to your point. As a child, there were certain actions that I took that, and again, there's no real way of knowing which one of them has propelled me to this very moment where I am having this conversation with you.
And you don't know those childhood, those actions that you took in childhood, you don't know how many other people were influenced by those actions you took that changed their life so that they could take actions to change other people's lives. So those people that none of us will ever meet in our whole lives will take actions to meet other people and change their lives.
Yeah.
You don't know those reverberations.
Yeah. Matter of fact, you know what came flooding back to mind? And I can't even remember how old I was at the time, and I was a young toddler, or, I was old enough that where I was walking blocks away from the house.
Right.
And we had a convenience store that was on the way to and from school. And I think it was elementary school. As a matter of fact, I know it was elementary school because high school was the other direction. Anyway, and I remember, although I cannot recall why I thought I could do this and get away with it, I took from that store one of these little flashlights. And when my parents found out about it, which they did, they took me back to the store where I returned it and had to apologize.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh my God. I had the same thing.
Yeah.
Like seriously, the exact same thing. I was with my cousin who was pushing me to take something.
Yeah.
And she took something and I took something and my mother saw it and she brought me back to the store and the woman who was the manager of the store was looking at her like, you do what? You brought her back to apologize?
Yeah.
And yeah, changes your life, doesn't it?
And I have to say that it had obviously an impact on me to where now when I will watch certain news stories or documentaries or true crime stories. There's one on CBS, for example, called 48 Hours, and they go through that whole thing. And I think about a lot of the people who, quote unquote, get away with it for a while. And I look at that and I say, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to make this decision over here or that, because somewhere down the road I'm going to get caught.
Well, I mean, I'm blown away that your parents did the same thing mine did.
Yeah.
I'm actually blown away because when I've told other people that story in my life, they go, your parents did what?
Well,
like, yeah, you don't know my parents.
And I was going to say then your parents and my parents must have been quite similar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they had that similar code.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just that they just dropped it off. It was like, you did this. You are responsible. You own it, and you apologize.
Mm-hmm.
I also had stuff I had to do,
Yeah. There was maybe a
home,
grounding or chores or... Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
But the thing is like that reverberates in your life that you hold a sense of honor and truth that you ain't going to do that.
Yeah.
Now, we're also lucky, even though it probably freaked us both out when we were that young, but we were really lucky that we had parents that held that level of being.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't just go, sorry, my kid, here, let me give this back to you. Accountability is very important for them.
I think
it's also now it's important for us.
Yeah.
And when you look at the energy of the streams of consciousness and resonating with those higher frequencies and bringing us all into a new paradigm, it is, yes, we know there are consequences, but we want more than that. We want to raise the vibrations and awareness so that when we are seen, people see the beauty in us as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we can share that beauty in the world in the different ways that it is.
Right. Absolutely. Let's dive into the 12, and I'm going to break these down into 4 segments. So we're going to deal with sort of 3 at a time. Now, they're not in any particular order, as we've said over and over again. There's no priority. It's like it's kind of like the way the Baha'is phrase this about messengers from God. You either accept, if you accept one messenger of God, you've accepted them all. If you reject one, you've rejected them all. So these are a package deal of 12, okay? You got a dozen there. They'll all fit in an egg carton. And so the first 3 we're going to deal with are purity, honor, and compassion. And I'm going to let you address them, if you will, in whatever way you want for about 2 or 3 minutes, if we can do it that way, so that we can get through all 12 of them. And highlight them so that those who have not listened to the 12 as individual programs, podcasts, which will be posted, they'll at least get a synopsis here, as well as encouraging them to go to lumari.com and pick up a copy of Streams of Consciousness. So purity, honor, and compassion.
And I just want to say before we go through these that for everybody, this book is a complex, rich book. It's not a simple outline, a simple spiritual text. This is a book that the people that I know that have read this book, it's already the fourth time they're reading it. So I want you to know that. So even as Richard and I are describing all of these things, the complexity and the richness is far beyond what we can actually describe. That's why you get to read the book. So the stream of purity, it is an awakening. It is an essence, and it is a spectacular vibration that is pristine. It doesn't have anything added to it. It is the clear essence. It's a vibration that just is a clear experience of the divine without any interpretation, without any hyphens. And it is a beautiful high vibration that has clarity and recognition and awe and inspiration. And the stream of purity is the brilliance of the divine, where you can see the divine in that way. When we look to the next stream,
Go right ahead. Honor.
When we look at the stream of honor, honor is really magical because honor has recognition to it. It is an energy that echoes through everything and really appreciates and recognizes greatness, and it holds it very, very dear. So the stream of honor is in relationship with the divine, and it allows us and creates a direct experience for the divine in all things. And when you feel that energy of the divine, it reveals and creates an experience that opens you to higher vibrations, and still you have a recognition, an appreciation, mutual understanding, and a direct respect for these energies of the divine, that it makes you want to step back and at the same time step forward in appreciation, honor, and it's a very intimate and expanding frequency.
And then we go to compassion.
Yes. So compassion is heart to heart. It is the vibration of sacred connection, where I can see the you in me, and I can see the me in you, and then we can see us together. And it recognizes that energy. Vibrationally, it's more of an oscillating flow. So it's more waves of energy that awaken and open you to understanding and generosity and a perception that creates an appreciation and an understanding and a sense of feeling together, where you're reverberating and in a sense of empathy and kinship and humanity together.
We're talking about the streams of consciousness. We're going through them 3 at a time today. We hope that you will pick up a copy as we continue on. One of my favorites, which to me also ties in with one that comes up later of unity, which we'll touch upon, has to do with neutrality, harmony, and grace. And actually, it's it's beauty and grace. They're combined into one. So you have neutrality, harmony, beauty, and grace. And there's a part of the conversation we had on neutrality having to do with the fact that things are just the way that they are. There is no back and forth, this is good, this is bad, and so forth. This is plus, this is minus. Things just are what they are. Like, we just experienced an eclipse, and the people were going gaga over it, which is fine, let's have some fun. But it's just what the universe does. And we just happen to be here on this, as they say, little blue marble, watching it. By the way, I did have a thought. I wonder, what's it like on the other side of the moon during the eclipse? It's got to be hotter than a pistol. But it is just...
Well, might get a ship out there someday.
We just might. And of course, then the question I have is, does that mean that the dark side of the moon is no longer dark? It's lit up like a firecracker, because we're always seeing the same side of the moon as it orbits the Earth. And technically it is spinning, okay, but we don't see the spin because of our perspective. Anyway, neutrality, harmony, beauty, and grace.
Well, neutrality is something, I mean, all of these are special, and I resonate with each one in a special and yet unique way. So neutrality is centralizing. It is understanding, knowing, being present, and recognizing what is there. There is no good or bad. There is no right or wrong. It is a noticing. You see things and appreciate them, and you know you're related, and you can see the interdependence of things, where everything does relate to everything else in some way. And yet neutrality it's a positive, connected space where you actually recognize the importance of all of it. So it's not that one is more important and one is less than. All is important. All is appreciated. But in a way, you're not going gaga over it, except for Lady Gaga, maybe. But it's an energy that you get to hold this vibrational pattern, recognize the importance of it, and appreciate that. And if we look at neutrality and look at everything as being important, it creates a new way of seeing the world.
Yeah. And that's really what we're looking for these days, is a new way of seeing the world, of perceiving the world. And I'll just use this as a case in point. In my therapy session, which I'm free to talk about, the suggestion, as I would share all of the things that were troubling me, or I was challenged by, or being stressed by, or feeling overwhelmed by, the suggestion was made, make a list. Not necessarily in order of priority, but just write them down. And so I purchased this art book. It's an unlined, almost construction paper type book, which I have actually to my right here that I'm touching. And I just started, and I did put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but not, it was just to number them, period, just to number them. And I'm up to 13.
Cool.
And I've already crossed one out that I've completed. All right, which is great. And there's no hurry, there's no rush, I got to do this by the end of the month. And what I have found is, because I've written them down, I'm not thinking about them.
Yeah.
It's freed my mind up. Now, does that mean that I don't have any more concerns? No. But when one pops up in my head, what do? I write it down.
Yeah.
14, 15,
well, that's
16.
a good way.
Yeah.
No, it's a good way for your mind, because one of the things is that your mind, we may call it nagging, but your mind repeats things because you feel it's important, and your mind wants you to remind you that it's important, because you feel it's important. When you write something down, you automatically confer importance to it. And then your mind says, oh, I don't have to remind you. You've got it down on paper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's brilliant.
Well, I actually sent a text to my therapist today, basically expressing that very thing, that, hey, ever since I've been doing this, my mind has been freed up. Hooray! Big exclamation point, smiley face.
Yeah.
And I think what it's the process that I'm in, that I encourage others to do, whether it's a list here or on the computer or what have you. Although this is handwritten, I've actually chosen to take a pen to paper. It is de-stressing, and the reason why that's so important is because we had to make a major purchase just recently. Because we needed a new washer. The one we bought 10 years ago, which was a good one, it was a good one, but nothing lasts forever. It's just the nature of this universe. We bought this one, but we couldn't install it. They brought it. As a matter of fact, the delivery date was delayed by 3 additional days. And I'm just thinking, okay, it'll be here when it's time. And then they bring it in, or they take it off the truck, and they come up to uninstall the old one, and they're going to haul it away. But we can't turn off the water because we have well water, which is not filtered, and so there's lots of corrosion. So we couldn't turn off the water, so they couldn't install it. Why don't you just go ahead and leave it here? So I then made a call to the landlord, and they sent out the brother who was able to turn off the water from a distance, install a new valve. I installed it. But it wasn't installed for 4 days past the original delivery installation date. And my wife probably made one of the wisest statements that she has ever made. The woman hates change to start with, but in this case, she loves this washer, and I like it too. Hey, it'll get installed when it gets installed. And we didn't stress about it. And the process was progressive over time as we see it. And to me, that is one of those processes that we all can learn from. Yeah, I want what I want, but it'll be here when it's here. And the universe's timing is far different. And I have to say that even though we're dealing also with financial challenges too, I felt okay about the whole thing. Not only in terms of the process we were going through, but the cost of it. I mean, I'm a guy, and, we're always looking at the bottom line, But I felt okay because I'm trusting the universe. That's a big one. And as a matter of fact, that's one of the places we're going to go to here, not in this sequence, but in the next sequence. So the next set of streams that we're going to talk about are wisdom, truth, and radiance. And to me, wisdom and truth in particular are sort of tied together that lead us into that third one there of radiance. And I got to tell you, I felt so good. I look out the window, I look out the porch through the screen at the green and all of the growth, and it's just beautiful. And I'm enjoying that even more. Whereas a few weeks back, it was really hard to enjoy nature because I was allowing myself to be so stressed by now a list that de-stresses. So it's really kind of cool. So we'll talk about wisdom, truth.
No, before we get there,
yes.
Guess what? I think we missed beauty and grace.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I jumped in and I apologize. So let me have you talk about beauty and grace before we move on, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Well, beauty and grace, I mean, just think of the words and then think of the energy that goes with it. It's presence and peace and understanding and looking at the different particles of the universe that have joy and reveal a beautiful presence. So beauty and grace is like a dual reflection of the divine. One part is beauty, and then it flips over and moves in a cycle into grace and back into beauty and back into grace. It is a beautiful relationship where aspects of it illuminate things and inspire things, and then the other aspect of it is that from that illumination and inspiration comes a celebration of the majesty and the spiritual, joyful, appreciative energies. And the reason that the stream has both together is so that you can feel both and that beauty isn't separated from grace, and grace isn't separated from beauty. Because it brings an evolving experience of recognition and appreciation. So sometimes with the energy of beauty, we humans feel that as outside of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And grace is an energy that we feel inside of ourselves. And when you have the stream of beauty and grace, then both of them are flowing within you so that there's a reflection of each and both within you so that you may feel it from the outside and from the inside. So it's like an infusion of both within you. I love it.
And
I love all of these.
Absolutely.
So.
And then that leads us into, I think, quite beautifully, into radiance. And then we'll talk wisdom and truth. So talk to us about radiance.
So how many would like to shine? Seriously, like just shine in the energies of it. I mean, that is something when you look at radiance, what does that mean? What does that feel like? It's such a profound energy. And Richard, you know you're skipping around, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good. Just as long as you know that.
Oh, yes.
So it's not going from page to page, and everybody else knows it's not going from page to page.
Mm-hmm.
So when they get the book and read it, they can jump around with us.
Exactly.
And so with radiance, this is illuminating. This is the forces within you, the forces outside of you, the forces from the divine, all reverberating blessings that encourage you to recognize the divine and its light. And it's clear, it's awakening, it's enlightening, it's the radiance also is immediate. It's not like you have to wait for it. It's present. It's universal. It's right there, sharing the true brilliance of the divine in everything. And when we feel that, see, it's another one of the streams. You can just feel that.
Mm-hmm.
You can, and of course, we can be cute and say, well, we had an eclipse today, so it wasn't radiating all the time. But when you think about everything that's radiating, the radiance of the universe, the new vibrant illumination, and yet it's ancient, and yet it's present, and yet it's coming to us. And in the radiance, there's a sense of discovery, so that you can actually experience the vibrations that are coming from the particular stream of radiance, but also the radiance of the divine and the radiance of the divine in each of us.
Yeah. So, go ahead. Wisdom and truth?
Wisdom and truth. All right, wisdom. I mean, really, who doesn't want wisdom? Wisdom is one of those things that the universe, obviously the divine, reverberates with wisdom. And wisdom is a real knowing, but it's beyond things. This is a penetrating knowing that moves within you so that there's levels of realization, there's levels of understanding and recognition, and they're in a present of being. So it's not like studying for wisdom, but it is accessing and being present to the collective expression of the universe, which is wisdom. We have revelations of understanding and infinite guidance from the divine, from each other, from things that we don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
And that all is divine knowing and wisdom.
Yeah. And from that comes the truth.
Yeah. Just a teeny favorite of mine.
Mm-hmm. Just a little one. Just a little one.
Exactly.
Well, we've got 3 final ones. And we're going to go through those in the last 5 or 6 minutes: reciprocity, universality, and unity.
Reciprocity. That is the flow of back and forth, the energy that moves through and to the brilliance of everything that is influencing and responding. And so you get a clear experience of the presence and the communion of the divine. So you're feeling the flow of relatedness, the interconnection of the all. And in that, it becomes an awakening and your eye-opening understanding of how everything really is interconnected, and it's the energies are so generous and influential, so that you receive and you give, you receive and you give, you receive and you give all the time. And when you recognize this in the stream of reciprocity, it gives you a deep understanding of how everything responds and corresponds to everything.
Okay.
Which one is next?
And the next one, I believe, we had universality and unity, the final two.
Oh, beautiful. Universality. All right. This is an amazing expansion because it is the riches of existence. It's collective resonating frequency that awakens and invites and reveals a direct experience, so that everything is present in its individuality and it all relates to each other. So when a person resonates with the stream of universality, they have a relationship, or you have a relationship with the divine that brings you an immediate sense that the universe is present here with you. That's really powerful. And it's not simply, spiritual experience is not really simple, but it's not really simply that you get that the universe is present, but you have a relationship with the universe where you're awakening, you're curious, you're wondrous and in harmony, and you can feel that all of it is really present for you.
Yeah.
That's really deep.
And then there's unity.
The everything in the all. Unity is the totality of one. It is the cosmic singularity where it recognizes everything, every particle, every existence, but it presents it in a fusion, in a wholeness, so that no matter how many particles, no matter how many little things or big things that are there, it is recognized to be part of the wholeness, to be part of the all, to not be separated, and it's in the oneness, and that's unity. And sometimes for us humans, that's probably the hardest one.
Yeah.
But there are people who resonate with unity, and they can see it. They can see that while there's things that we can distinguish, we're not separate.
No. It is our uniqueness in our experiences and in who we are and how we've come into this world, but it is also those uniquenesses, if you will, that also make us connected, that also provide that connectivity, so to speak, because we're all made up of the same stuff. We're all made up of the same stuff on not only a physical, but also a metaphysical level. And I think that there's a part of each and every human being on the planet that really wants to do that, wants to go higher. And that's what Streams of Consciousness is all about. And Lumari, thank you so much for this series. And we're going to start a new series next week. Very excited about that. And we will do that. And I thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing here in this special edition of Tell Me Your Story.
Oh, Richard, thank you so much. It's an honor and a joy to be part of this, to bring these frequencies of creation and the streams of consciousness awareness to our world, and to share it with your community and your listeners. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
And I am honored as well. And I thank you folks for joining us here on the program and for tuning in to Tell Me Your Story, whether you're listening or watching. We hope that you will do that as we continue here on the program that provides you with new paradigms for a new world, giving you choices and knowledge of those choices to help make your dreams come true. And until our next series, and until our next broadcast, podcast, videocast, love to Lal. Jeanette, I'm listening. Dad, continue to be happy. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. And to my friend Zorro, aho, aho.